A Lad from Sardinia. The Adventures of Morgan Harmony by Myron Furtick, 2015. Set in the northwestern Mediterranean in the early 1600s, A Lad from Sardinia is an historical novel set in rhyme. Although you may recognize characteristics of people you know, these characters are purely fictional. You will travel with Morgan Harmony aboard a square-rigged brigantine, whose captain has been commissioned by the high courts of Spain to rid the Mediterranean Sea of pirates of any stripe, and to aid any in need, from sea merchants as they crisscross the Med to folks seeking a new homeland. A Lad from Sardinia, Book 1, Chapter 1, The Squall. When I was a lad in Sardinia, when chores for my Aunt Harmy were o'er, I'd take me bro Lime, who was 10 at the time, and we'd run to where ships come to shore. Each Saturday morning, like clockwork, 14 and a half, I recall, we'd head o'er to the Venerable Pig, or the closest to the Chuck, called the Squall, where the men of the sea came a-swaggerin' to swill down their whiskeys or ales, to exchange their best stories, misfortunes, their glories. Me and Lime heard incredible tales. We rode the great swells of the green seas of hell with that Portuguese, Lucas Niganage, and we whimpered as Rote had a blade cut his throat by that feared pirate mob. And though severed his gob, he doth manage. And with full bearded guest in that bitter cold nest, we too braced, relentless, icicled, knife in the chest. And when he shouted, "Land, land," me and Lime had to stand and cheer. So did the rest. And that night I thanked Jesus the guest was still here. And our hearts fairly burst as old sharp bait Tipper, though he told it quite chipper. He even winked at us lads. Oh, I think they all had. He rehearsed of the time he was tossed in the foam, had us bear down with Whitey and lost near a stone. We'd sit for hours, transfixed, buggy-eyed. Sometimes we laughed, sometimes we cried. Keel-hauling, treasures, slavers, blue whales, ghost ships, pirates, no end of their tales. And oft, someone would start with an old chanty verse. Some sang it better, and some, of course, worse. Thomas played guitar, Sal on mouth organ. Sometimes they'd sing songs till 1 in the morning. And it's way, hey, anchors away, boys. It's time to hoist up the sails, boys. And it's way, hey, anchors away, boys. Tell the captain the cook's still in jail, boys. And it's way, hey, anchors away, boys. It's time to be out on the brine, boys. And it's way, hey, anchors away, boys. Tell Molly we'll see her next time, boys. And it's way, hey, anchors away, boys. It's time for our sea legs again, boys. And it's way. And the squall would come alive with the laughter. Melody'd ring to the rafters. And of course, me and Lime would join in, and we'd sway back and forth with the men. Sometimes a regular line got changed to a new one, like, "Make sure we got plenty of rum," would be changed to, "I'm so drunk that I can't find my bum." And of course, that made the squall even more fun. Now, Aunt Harmy suspected just where we was going. I suppose all that swagger and talk was a-showing. So one Saturday morning, she followed us bold. But wait, there's more of this tale that should first be unfolded. One other thing happened on that fateful day. Just bear with me further. A few lines, if I may. In the candle-lit corner sat a stranger, alone. Didn't say nothing, just sat like a stone. He was rigged up in whites, starched, crisp like a soldier. Had anchors for buttons, gold cords at his shoulders. In the harbor I'd seen a sleek brigantine moored. Ah, this must be the captain, I figured for sure. So we buoyed up the courage to sit where he sat. When I asked for his name, he leaned over and spat. We looked round the room and we stared at the faces. The others drew closer, in fact, several paces. Chairs scraped the floor as men, out of respect, gathered quiet to listen. Some new tale, I expect. Soon we were surrounded by eager eyes, waiting. The squall became eerie with anticipation. The cap lit his pipe with a candle-lit flare, flashed eyes at his audience, tousled Lime's hair. I come to the sea, boy, pure accident. Now, I'm not saying life ain't been so well spent. He said, son, I guess I's no more than you. Rope pulled out a chaw and he bit off a chew. My name's son, it's Harmony. Harmony's the name, just like your Aunt Harmony. My name's the same. The old salt quaffed his brew, and again he did spit. Lime grabbed my arm, and I shivered a bit. Same as Aunt Harmy? How can that be? I stuttered. Same as it ever is, the old sea dog muttered. Boys, I guess you could call me your flesh and blood kin. And that's when Aunt Harmy came bustling in. Chapter 2, Flesh and Blood Kin. Now to look upon her, tender, dainty and all, her stature no more than half a pint. But when she stood framed in the door of the squall, Aunt Harmy was more like a giant. You men, you know better, Aunt Harmy began. Pirates, the lot of you, you're all the same. Filling my boys with nonsensical tales, you should be out whaling, or better, in jail. But to her amazement as she stood in the door, 'twas only 5 or 6 customers, and Jack at the bar. Where were the others? Generally filled to the bursting, noisy with laughter, air filled with cursing. Morgan, where are you? I know you're in here. And Jack, don't tell me you ain't let them go drinking no beer. Aw, no, Miss Harmy. The boys is okay. You trained 'em up good, so I lets 'em stay. A big help is they when I'm busy and not able to sweep floors, cleans up spills. Why, they even wipes tables. I toss a coin or two at 'em, and a drink, nothing strong. I keeps an eye on 'em. They don't stay too long. You see all that smoke there at that yonder table? They's crowded round there, with every seaman that's able. In that corner, with Tipper and Ivory and Rope. Some captain fella just got off in his boat. Jack poured her a pint, and he said, It's on me. She softened a bit, and she sipped it, relieved. Thanks, Jack, she said. Should have more faith. Now I'll ramble on over and check on my waifs. Through the tavern Aunt Harmy strode, toward all the babble, peered through the smoke all the men round the table. Aunt Harmy, Lime squealed with a grin. Come over and meet Captain, our flesh and blood kin. Flesh and blood, what? Aunt Harmy replied. We ain't got no kin, boy. Every one of them died. They was caught in the plague of the year 63. The only ones left is just you two and me. He's lying, boys, trust me. I know what I'm saying. Like the scoundrel he is, 'tis a game he be playing. She steeled her jaw firmly and bristled with pride. I tried to talk reason, but she brushed me aside. You, sir, your name. I'll have it and true. She looked at the captain, daggered him through. But he, like a gentleman, stood at her command, bowed ever so slightly and offered his hand. It's Aunt Harmy, is it? The old captain queried. You speak mostly true, but we ain't all been buried. You were a child, 8 or 9, I remember, when that big tidal wave hit the coast that September. Your daddy and I were swept out in that wave, picked up by a whaler, near drowned, but saved. His legs and his insides was broken up bad, but the ship's dock was masterful, fixed up your dad. That whaler made west for some place called Gibraltar. We passed through some straits, then we hit open water. They took us to port in a town called Cadiz. Your daddy revived, and that's now where he is. Everyone at the table shot eyes back and forth. Aunt Harmy, she studied, intent on his story. Her green eyes were fixed on the captain, and then, "Well, I declare, you do resemble our kin. Be ye Frederick or Willem, one of Pa's younger brothers. The stones in the churchyard mark out all the others. All gone now they be, old age, plague, or flood. So we thought we be all that's left of Pa's blood." "I'm your own Uncle Willem," said the naval commander, "and as you see plainly, I ain't dead and under. Pa's stone's still up there, yours too," she reflected. The old seaman winced, then he grinned more collected. "Well, lass, time that your pa and me gets resurrected." Uncle Willem pulled Lime and me out of the inn, not knowing that we'd never see it again. Jack waved his hand, yelled goodbye over the crowd. Harmy whispered in answer just barely aloud. "Did you hear?" As we left, murmurs spread round the squall. "That captain is Harmy's lost uncle and all. Claims to be Willem, the two lads' great uncle. Could be the truth, or just a load of carbuncles."